Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm back once again to do another movie review, and I'm going to do Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Well, this is the collection of the first four movies from 1990 all the way to 2007. I don't have those other two new ones that came out in 2014, I think 2015 or 16. Who gives a shit? I don't give a shit about those two movies. Anyway, and so I'm reviewing the first movie, which was directed by Steve Barron. And this movie's based on the popular cartoon in the '80s, and the comics was transitioned to a live action. And before I get to the plot of this movie, I'm gonna shout out to my man Review King MB and Ramrat for life. Look, I know the majority of y'all out there have already reviewed this movie, so I thought I'd give my point of view. Thought I'd give you my point of view of what I thought of the movie and how much I enjoyed it. So let's get into the plot. The plot is we have mut four teenage mutated turtles that has been trained in jitsu, has trained in martial arts to to stop crime. Sorry, I got a text. And their plots to stop crime. These four mutated turtles lurking from out the shadows to stop crime that's been flooding the city of New York, the streets of New York. And this crime wave has been run by an evil ninja master, Shredder. And yeah, and the turtles have been trained martial arts by a ninja master rat, Splinter. All right, so what I thought of this movie is I really enjoyed this movie. I'm a big Ninja Turtles fan, myself. I grew up on this movie. I grew up from watching when I was a kid. Watched I was so excited when I heard about the Ninja Turtles. I was so excited about like watching the cartoon. I used to watch the cartoons that came out every week. Plus, plus the Saturday morning cartoons. And when I heard the live action movie coming out, when I heard the movie was coming out, I was fucking pumped. Except except for one thing, and please forgive me that at the time when I was a kid, I didn't know this movie existed. I only knew the second movie existed. I only knew part two existed, which Ninja Turtles 2: The Secret of the Ooze I saw in theaters as a kid, which at the time I did not know the first movie existed. Yeah, at some point, I found out the first movie existed, and I didn't see the first movie before I saw Ninja Turtles 2. But anyways, and let's get to the Ninja Turtles themselves. And let's see, and the personalities was what makes it all the more interesting. And again, I haven't read the comics. I haven't read the comics, so and I'm thinking I would assume in the comics, they all wore in their masks, the color masks that they have now. I think all their masks were red in the comics, and it was hard to tell who they were. But we knew by the weapons that they carried. But now it's been developed to different color masks, so we know who they are. But anyways, yeah. So let's start with Leonardo. We we start with Leonardo. He's Leonardo is the fear. He's the leader. He's the leader of the group, and he's the one. He takes his ninja training seriously. He's the only one in the group who's always serious. And then we have Michelangelo. Well, fan favorite. I would take. No, I believe Raphael's a fan favorite, which I'll get to in a minute. Let's see. Michelangelo is he's the party dude. He's got that southern California accent. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. He's the laid back. He's the laid back. Pizza eating turtle. Well, they all eat pizza. So and, yeah. So that's pretty much Michelangelo. He's the party dude, and you have Donatello who's supposed to be the smart one. He's my favorite. Donatello's my favorite Ninja Turtle, and he's the smart one in the group, which this movie kind of contradicted. It kind of contradicted his personality. He's like, I'm not. He's like Michelangelo's counterpart, which that had a, I kind of had a problem with. Because he's supposed to be smart. I mean, in this movie they didn't make him smart, but it didn't really bother me too much though. I still enjoyed it as it is. I love the guy. I love Donatello. He's my favorite because he wears a purple mask. And then, yes, the fan favorite. All you out there, and if you're watching Rambo Rat for Life, I know this is your favorite one. You have Raphael. Okay, Raphael's supposed to be the tough guy. He's the tough guy in the group. He's the rebellious one, and he always has he conflicts back in like in that one scene in April's apartment. Like when they're hiding out in April's apartment, he has a conflict with Leonardo. It's conflicting back and conflict. The interaction between him and Leonardo is conflicting. They argue and fight over things. A lot and stuff like that. And yeah, so and Raphael is pretty much he's the hothead. He's the hothead. He has a short. He's like ill tempered basically. Yeah. So yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, he's the closest to Splinter. He's the yeah, and like I said, he's the hot tempered one. Okay. Yeah, and now let's get on. And now it's getting on to and the costumes look great. They still hold up to this day. This movie's over like this movie came out in 1990, right? And this movie's about over 20 something years old, and it still holds up today. The costumes look fucking amazing, thanks to Jim Henson. You know, and then you have that, and now the other characters, the supporting characters like Splinter, the Rat, Master Splinter, and he's one of the best and iconic movie mentors ever. And and there's some moments with there's some moments with Splinter, that's kind of like touching, it's kind of touching, and I guarantee Splinter is the type of character that always he has a place in my heart, and he's his speeches, and things like that. He does, and at the end of the movie, he does have a humorous side too. They add a bit of humor to his character, at least towards the end of the movie. So like most of the movie, with every single Splinter, it's always serious and heartwarming. You know, um, and he is who the turtles look up to as a father figure who's been in their lives. And then you have Judith Hornwong as April O'Neil. Yes, I love this woman. She is the best fucking April O'Neil ever. I mean, she doesn't do as much in this movie, but she does something. She does something. I mean, I'll admit, she's a bit sassy. She has that sassy personality. This one, and she's hot. And I like that. That's what I like about her. And, she speaks her mind. She like knows what's going on in the city, out there in the city. That the authorities, that the New York City police, are not doing shit about. She sees this crime taking place, and the police ain't doing shit about it. So, and April indeed tougher than she looks. She's tougher than she looks. So I mean, she is tough. She doesn't look tough, but she's tough. She even helps the Ninja Turtles. She's active. She's pretty active in her own way. She helps the turtles out more ways than one. She does what she can to help them out. To help them look for Splinter, and yeah, I mean, I love Judith Horton as April. I cannot say the same for the other actresses who played April in the